So now we're going to talk about the opposite of prosocial behavior, aggression. So first, it's important to recognize the difference between aggressive and assertive. So assertive behavior is goal-directed actions that help obtain legitimate ends. It's like standing up for yourself. Aggressive are behaviors that are carried out without heeding the needs of others, can be verbal or physical. It's usually intended to cause harm, damage, or injury. So there's different types of aggression. There's instrumental or possession-oriented aggression. So this is when preschoolers or toddlers use aggression to obtain toys and things they want. Older preschoolers are more likely to solve conflicts without aggression, but younger preschoolers still tend to use it. By middle childhood, aggression becomes hostile and people-oriented, like name-calling, criticisms, etc. Aggression appears to be stable. More aggressive preschoolers become more aggressive adults. Relational aggression. In preschool, this is most likely to be ignoring someone, excluding them from play. Remember, if you haven't learned yet, relational aggression is undermining relationships rather than physical harm. So some other examples of aggression are hitting, name-calling, malicious gossip, bullying, fighting, stealing, etc. These are all aggression. But in preschool, we most likely see the instrumental and a little bit of relational. If you're interested in aggression, Odd Girl Out is a good book about relational aggression in teenage girls. So, some possible sources and causes of aggression. Evolution and biology. Did aggression help us survive as a species? Well, yeah, it helped us back when we were cavemen, essentially. We needed aggression in order to survive. Biology. There may be genetic factors. Testosterone causes aggression, and 9 to 11-year-old boys with conduct disorders are likely to have higher levels of testosterone than their less aggressive peers, so that might have something to do with it. Temperament is a factor. Children who are impulsive, uninhibited, etc. may be more likely to elicit punitive, aggressive responses from parents, which might in turn make them more aggressive. Cognition. Aggressive children are more likely than non-aggressive children to misinterpret the behavior of peers as aggressive or potentially harmful. They see the world through a more aggressive, threatening lens, causing them to lash out more often. Older children who believe aggression is a legitimate way to solve problems are more likely to say that they would behave aggressively in hypothetical social situations. Aggressive children are lacking in empathy and perspective taking, or theory of mind. Social learning in the media also plays a role. Remember Bandura's studies, children who see aggression are more likely to act aggressively. So in addition to social modeling, there is some operant conditioning that may be at work. When young children are aggressive, pushing, shoving, grabbing, older children are likely to let them have their way. Therefore, the aggressive behavior has been rewarded, so to speak, so it's likely to continue. Aggressive children also tend to associate with other aggressive children, leading to a positive feedback loop where they make each other more aggressive. This may be because aggressive children get rejected by their non-regressive peers, so they tend to congregate with each other. They need parental models. Children are more likely to do what the parents do than what the parents say, so aggressive parents are likely to have aggressive children. And physical punishment by parents leads to aggression in children. It sends a message that it's okay to hit and stokes feeling of anger and resentment in the child. The media can also be a source of aggression just from what they see in movies and video games and TV shows. We'll talk about that more in the Digital Child lecture. Television is one of children's major sources of informational observational learning. Bandura showed that children are just as likely to imitate a fantasy creature as a human. Even G-rated movies have violence. Just because it's committed by cartoon characters doesn't mean it has less impact on children. Early family experiences matter. The use of harsh punishment, authoritarian parenting, these can create more aggressive children. Physically punished children are more aggressive, and parents who model aggressive behavior have more aggressive children. Aggressive children also have problems processing emotion. Aggressive boys are not as skilled at sensing other people's emotions and intentions. We can train adolescents to properly identify hostile and non-hostile cues and how to respond other than aggression, which is a good way to intervene with an aggressive teenager. Conflicts in the home and parents who model aggressive behavior can be internalized. They just think that's the way it is. And aggressive adolescents choose aggressive friends. So again, creates a positive feedback loop. Neighborhoods with poverty and high crimes create a culture of violence. So the system around the child and all of these other issues can create more aggressive children. So is the behavior aggressive or normal? This can be a difficult distinction to make in preschool. Preschoolers aren't fully capable of understanding what behavior is appropriate and what isn't. They have poor emotional control, so they are more likely to act out when they're angry or frustrated. Therefore, some aggression in preschoolers is normal. This doesn't mean you accept it, you teach them a better way to do it. Some people may have noticed that children have their worst behavior with their parents. They may kick or scream or even bite their parents. It's horrible, but this is normal. Parents often ask, why does my child behave so well for you and so horribly for me? And there is a reason for that. Any guesses? Well, there's something called the poison receptacle. It's related to attachment. Everything's related to attachment. Children with a secure attachment know that whatever they do or say, their attachment figure will still love them. So they feel safe to be at their worst. Poor parents, but it's actually a good thing. It's a sign of love and trust. So think about a significant other. Don't you want someone you can complain to, yell at, etc.? Someone to whom you can show your worst side and they'll still love you? That's being a poison receptacle. It's taking all the negative emotions from someone else and loving them anyway. And children doing this to their parents is a sign of a good attachment. Self-control. This is a developmental skill. It's not innate. It must be learned and practiced. It won't just develop on its own. It gets easier with age and cognitive development, especially the prefrontal cortex. Parenting can affect the development of self-control. Parents who model self-control and use authoritative parenting practices have children who are better at self-control. Remember, parents who are authoritarian and control everything their children do have children with actual less self-control. Permissive parents have children with less self-control, because in both of those cases, the children have never had to control themselves. So delayed gratification is, waiting for something good to happen. And self-control is related to this. You have to control yourself in order to do the delayed gratification. So Bandura did a study in this as well. He found that children who see adults modeling delayed gratification are more likely to show it themselves. If they see adults going for immediate gratification, so will they. Like other things Bandura studied, children copy what they see. A great experiment in self-control and delayed gratification is the marshmallow test. I highly recommend you watch this video. It's hilarious. So essentially, children are given a marshmallow and they're told that they can either eat the marshmallow now, or when the researcher comes back in 15 minutes and the marshmallow is still there, they can have 2 marshmallows. So they're trying to see if young children can resist eating a marshmallow for 15 minutes in order to get 2 marshmallows at the end. So some of the results of this classic experiment, that was longitudinal. They followed these children for years. Only about a third of children ages 4 to 6 were able to wait the 15 minutes to get the second marshmallow. However, later in life, the children who were able to wait longer for the marshmallow did better in school and were in better physical health. They had higher tolerance for stress, and they were better able to plan and reason. This study shows the importance of self-control. It's a skill that helps people in all aspects of life, and it shows up more often than you might think. So I want you to watch this video and observe what are some of the techniques that the children use to resist the marshmallow. Remember, children don't have very good self-control yet. Adults can usually have internal means, distracting themselves, thinking about other things. But children have to rely on different methods because of their immature prefrontal cortex. So it's really funny seeing some of the things that the kids come up with to help them resist the marshmallow. Okay, that's all I have for early childhood social development. If you have any questions, please post them on Blackboard.